That sucked. Well, that sucked, and I guess I'm not fasting. You know, it really feels like anytime I try to like make a plan for something, I get thrown for a loop and it doesn't work out the way I was hoping, planning, whatever. Yeah, so I had a bad fasting experience. I thought that being keto before going into a fast would be a good idea. But I guess I was probably not being diligent enough with my making sure that my hydration and electrolyte status was on point. And I think this is the truth. I was drinking water, but I wasn't being as consistent with electrolytes for the last little while there. I was really just starting to struggle overall. It seemed like over the course of my 4 or 5 months that I was doing keto, I just kind of progressively started to struggle with it more and more. And yeah, so I was just kind of not doing great and not keeping up on things as well as I was in the beginning, right? So anyway, here is what happened. I decided that I was ready to try to start a fast. Didn't have a plan for how long I was gonna go. It was just gonna be however long I felt like I could go, however long I could make it. I've done a couple of 2 to 3 day fasts in the past. I was hoping I would be able to get past that. But if I couldn't, I was like, fine, that's fine. But so anyway, I decided to start a fast. I had a little bit to eat the morning of the fast. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready. So I decided to stop eating. So I had a small amount of calories that morning. And I was feeling fine. Like I started to feel kind of hungry in the evening. I was drinking plenty of water that day, and a little bit of electrolytes. I was adding a little bit of, Celtic salt into my water. Probably not enough, but a little bit. So went to bed just fine, was sleeping just fine. And then one of my daughters woke up having a nightmare. And so I heard her calling for me. And, it's one of those things where it's like when that happens, when the kids wakes up at night, I just kind of like get up and go. I'm not really even realizing what's happening. I'm like still half asleep. So I just got up abruptly and went into their room and immediately started feeling really bad. Started feeling faint, hot, nauseous. And I started to pass out. And I kind of thankfully, they have bunk beds, and I slumped down onto the bottom bunk first. So I didn't just fall over from standing. Slumped down onto the bottom bunk and then passed out. Scared the heck out of my one daughter. She didn't know what was happening. Thankfully my husband heard and came in and got me and helped me back into our bed, and then he dealt with the kids. And I was just very out of it, woozy, dizzy after that. And of course my one daughter, who's had plenty of sleep difficulties in her life, let's say, she was now freaked out and she wouldn't go back to sleep. So I ended up going in there and just my husband didn't want me to go back to sleep because we weren't sure what was going on. I was getting dizzy and stuff. And so he didn't want me to go to sleep. And so I just sat on the floor of my kid's room. That happened around 2:30. So I sat on the floor of my kid's room for 5 hours until I woke up. Yeah, so that really sucked. I didn't feel like I hit my head or got injured, when I fell. I didn't have any pain or anything. But it seemed like the dizziness was vertigo. I'd knocked myself into some vertigo or something. I would if I tried to lay back, it was the worst if I laid down flat, but even if I like tried to tilt my head back like this, I would start to get very dizzy. And that lasted for a couple of days, just kind of got progressively better over the course of a couple of days. My husband and I did that, I think it's called the Epley maneuver for vertigo, and that really seemed to like snap me totally out of it. And now I'm back to normal, thankfully. That was like, I don't freaking know. I don't know when that was. It was like less than a week ago, but several days. I don't know that this happened. And, you know, looking into it, talking to Dr. GPT, you know, kind of figured that I probably was like dehydrated and had low electrolyte status. And then apparently when you start fasting, you have like an electrolyte dump. And if you're already low, then it's like, you know, if I like stood up abruptly in the night and like my blood pressure dropped and whatever, and that's what caused me to faint. And that makes sense to me. Yeah, so that night, after I fainted and got back in bed, it's like, okay, I guess I gotta break this freaking fast now at 2:30 in the morning. I was fasting for like 14 hours or something stupid, like barely even fasting. I must have been pretty darn depleted, which, like I said, again, makes sense because I was just like, that last like couple of weeks where I was trying to do non-dairy keto, I was just really struggling, and I stopped doing a good job of like keeping up with things. So, oh yeah, so I got to break my fast at 2:30 in the morning. I had some cheese and some nuts and a wee little bit of cantaloupe. And let me friggin' tell you, that cantaloupe was amazing. And then the next morning, after my kids were awake and everything, we were having breakfast, I had more cantaloupe. And it was amazing. And I started to feel much better after having a good bit of cantaloupe. So yeah, I'm done with keto. I'm gonna make another video talking about how I'm feeling coming off of it. Surprisingly well. I was kind of concerned, but I have thoughts about that. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, so I'm really bummed out. You know, in my last video, I was talking about how I was planning on doing like this fast and trying to go for a good bit if I can, like this, but I guess I just can't now. I guess starting from keto, you have to like be really intentional. And I like looked online too that like people passing out from like keto and like intermittent fasting is not uncommon. So I guess you probably have to be very intentional about your hydration and your electrolyte status if you're gonna do that. I didn't realize that. So like, gosh, it's such a freaking bummer. Like this was my idea on how to get myself to be able to do a longer fast by already being in ketosis when I start. Because like I've talked about before, when I've tried to do an extended fast in the past, it's just, I just feel too bad. Like 2 to 3 days into it, I'm feeling so bad, and I could just push through it if I could just sit there and rest. But I can't do that because I have to take care of my little kids in my house and all of that stuff. Like I can't take time off from any of that. So now I'm just like, well, now what the heck am I gonna do? I'm not giving up on fasting because like I've said, it's, you know, I don't want to just do it for health reasons, but also for like spiritual reasons, you know? So I'm not going to give up on it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll probably just try and do like single day fasts here and there, to like keep up with it, you know? Do like 1 to 2 day fasts here and there. And then if I just start feeling too bad, then just be like, okay, it's fine. Like I'll just break it, whatever, until my kids are older and I can actually just rest and they can take care of themselves and like, be like, yeah, hey, can you get your own breakfast and lunch today? And they'll be like, yeah, mom. Yeah. So I guess that's the fasting plan. Yeah, bummer. I'm very grateful that I didn't hurt myself. I'm grateful for that. You know, it's like, it's it's tough with like health related topics. Everyone who has any kind of like credentials or anything is always just like, consult your doctor, or like, don't do this without supervision. And you're like, yeah, okay, like whatever, because most of the time doctors don't like know anything except like pushing meds on you, and like who can afford to like do things under supervision, like that's ridiculous. Seriously, yeah, whatever. I mean, I guess there's sometimes a reason for that. So that was my bad fasting experience. It sucked, but you know, it's life, I guess. It sucks sometimes, but there's much to be grateful for. So yeah, I'm not doing keto anymore, and I'm also grateful for that. And we'll talk about that next time. So thank you for watching.